all they're speaking on screen, and we're going to be hearing from the governor of Nasarawa State, Nigeria, Abdullahi Saleh. His Excellency Engineer Abdullahi Saleh, a governor of Nasarawa State, our former Group Managing Director of Sugar and African Petroleum. Today he opens the Trade and Investment Showcase with a proven vision for sustainable development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, guests, please give him a warm round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the MC. At least I recognize you. Actually, the MC, I will be the first to recognize you here. Yeah. Your Excellency, Excellencies actually who are all here, distinguished delegates, captains of industries. I see so many of you. The General, have my heart for you. My dear colleagues actually that came also with me from Nigeria. For me, I have spent most of my life in the private sector. I actually got into politics after leaving the Dangote Group as a group managing director in the year 2018. Reason why I want to tell you before you get the message, you need to understand the messenger first. So my background actually, I went to school in the US, Indiana State University. I then worked in the US in the oil and gas sector for a while. The funny thing about leadership that I have had over and over today, I'm so excited to sit down here and hear. In the year 1997, I was working for Amoco. And Amoco was getting ready actually to acquire BP. And we were working very hard during that period. 1 year later, because of leadership, in 1998, which was actually a period that you have seen a lot of the international oil companies merging, Chevron, Texaco coming together, ExxonMobil coming together. Just all of a sudden, because of leadership by Sajjad Brown, and that's why I like to give that example there in London, BP now came and acquired Amoco. And we ended up now being BP Amoco, and now we don't hear Amoco anymore, we just hear BP. Because when they acquired us, that was the end of it. Just like you don't hear ExxonMobil anymore, you just hear Mobil. You don't hear Chevron Texaco anymore, you just hear Chevron and the rest of that. So I give you that little bit to understand the essence of leadership. When there is a leadership, there is a vision, there is determination, and actually there is implementation, you have success. And that is what we need in Africa. And thank you very much, for those presentations. Coming to Nigeria, I actually returned to Nigeria in the year 2000. I became the managing director of African Petroleum, which was one of the 8 petroleum product marketing companies. The first time I went into the downstream sector. And then after that, I now went into the Dangote Group. Dangote, by the way, for those who don't understand it, is the richest African, or the richest black man in the world, the way they describe him right now. So I was in Dangote when we came up with the idea that Nigeria, the biggest oil producer, at the time producing over 2.5 million barrels per day, we were importing petroleum products. Why? Because of leadership. So we said, let us have the idea of a company within Nigeria building a factory of refinery so that instead of importing, let us be exporting. It looked like a dream, but in Dangote we had this slogan that nothing is impossible. And this young man who is less than 70 years old, a little bit younger than the general, came up with what you call the leadership that is needed. Today, we no longer import petroleum products because of the 650,000 barrels per day. We now export petroleum products from Africa, from Nigeria to other African countries. One, we're exporting actually even to US and to other places because of leadership. I tell leadership, I like what the gentleman from Mauritius actually mentioned, that there is no one item that you can define leadership that fits all of Africa. Every country in Africa, you go to Somalia, for instance, because of the crisis in Somalia, they will have a different definition. You come to Mauritius, and I like it when he clearly defined that Mauritius was actually, people were seeing Mauritius. I went to Mauritius because I was running a sugar factory before in Hungary. And so sugar is what made Mauritius, what it was, so exciting. How somebody can just take sugar cane and turn it into wealth. And that's what they did in Mauritius. You can't do that actually if you go to Somalia, because you don't have that kind of opportunities. So this is what is happening, and I just love it. When I sat down there, I had the definition. I think the facilitator did a wonderful job. I want to thank you for what you do. By asking that question, let me hear from you. What is the meaning of leadership? And the general is going to tell you it's falling down from 10,000 feet. That's it. So these are the issues that we need to do. And I think we need to have a lot of this. I want to congratulate you for what you are doing here. And I think we should be having more of this. And you should be inviting more of people in position of leadership so they can sit down and hear what is happening. And then we can go from there. All that is not part of my presentation, but I just what I have here today. So thank you very much. My presentation is now going to be short, just for what I have. Where is Nasarawa State? Nasarawa State happens to be at the central part of Nigeria, just very close to Abuja. For those, I'm more familiar with the US, I'm sorry, than UK. So you can equate Nasarawa State with Maryland and Washington, DC. That's what Nasarawa State is. So Abuja is the seat of power, but living in Abuja is extremely expensive, just like living in Washington, DC. So what people do is to go to the area where there is over 27,000